Let's do this. Hi. Bonjour. Hola. Yeah. My name is Baxter Frederick. And 10 years ago, I did something no one on earth had ever thought was possible. I opened a portal. Not across the planet, not into space, but into something else entirely. An entirely new world. I remember stepping through. The air felt heavy, not thick, just different, like it noticed me. Like it realised I was something new. The sky, if you could even call it that, was this endless shade of violet. No sun, no stars, just light. Everything and nothing at the same time. And I was mesmerised. Every direction I looked, uncharted, untouched, mine to explore. I could do anything. I laughed, tears streaming down my face. I actually laughed, because for a moment I had won. I thought I had won. Then I tried to go back. And the portal was gone. That's when it hit me. Not all at once. No, slowly. Like something tightening around your chest, like an anxiety attack. I was stuck. One moment, I felt like a god, creating a new world. The next, I felt like nothing. I remember collapsing, my hands shaking, my breath heavy and uneven, like my lungs were collapsing. I tried to scream, but nothing would come out. I just folded into myself. I curled into myself, like that might somehow protect me from my situation. I cried for hours, maybe longer. It's hard to tell time when the sky never changes. But at some point I stopped. Not because I felt better, not because I couldn't keep going, but because I opened my eyes. I looked around across the endless, impossible landscape, and something shifted. I thought to myself, I said to myself, Baxter, if you're going to die here, then I'm not going to die curled up in a ball crying. So I stood up, wiped my face, and I made a decision. Best decision ever. If I was trapped in this world, then I would own it. I would explore everything, climb everything, survive anything. I would discover everything there was. So when I did die, I could die knowing I did something, for myself at least. So, welcome to venturing throughout the void. You're probably wondering how I didn't starve to death in the first week. Yeah, that part took trial and error. Yeah, all error. The first thing I found, I named the bright blossom. It looked beautiful. A small flower with a glowing bulb at the top. Light pulsing through it like a heartbeat. It was almost inviting. So I ate it. It was the worst mistake of my life. The second it touched my tongue, oh, I can still imagine it. Burning. It was burning my tongue, but not like heat. Not exactly. More like chemical fire. Then it just collapsed into dust in my mouth. And the taste, my God. Imagine melting plastic. Imagine smelling melting plastic. Now imagine the plastic melting in your mouth. And no matter how much you wiped your tongue, it just wouldn't go. And you didn't have water. You don't have water to get rid of the taste. I threw up so much. Yeah. A lot. The second plant I discovered, the thornberry. A tall plant about half my height, covered in soft pink berries. Too perfect. But the thorns, they move. The thornberry, as the name would suggest, has thorn protrusions. When I reach for one, it turns towards me slowly. It looks like it's going to fire. The thorns shake slightly, like they're about to shoot, but they don't. It's like a defense thing. So I picked one, ate it, used the thorn as like a little skewer. My God, they were sweet. Incredibly sweet. Too sweet. Ate too many. I did not think about the long-term consequences. Lost a few teeth over time. Those were fun to remove on my own. A lot of bashing my face into a rock. Can't tell if it was worth it in the end. Maybe. Probably. The third source I found, roots. Found them under falling trees. Dry, tough, stringy. Tasted like jerky, like 2-week-old jerky. They'd been left out in the rain. They weren't good, but they kept me alive. They kept me full, somewhat. Now, I'm assuming most of you want to know about the animals, the creatures that I found. The first animal I ever encountered changed everything. I called it the hammerhead snake. As you can imagine, it's a snake with wings, an armoured head and a reinforced tail. And yet it flew. It hunted by slamming its head into things hard. But that's not the weird part. They sleep inside shells, perfectly round, hanging from trees. Look exactly like apples. That was my mistake. I saw them and thought, finally, something earthly. An apple. I picked one. I took a bite. 2 green eyes opened inside of it. I dropped it. I screamed. I screamed a manly scream. Ah! It flew out, and it hit me straight in the face, giving me an amazing black eye. My God, like it looked like I'd fought Rocky Balboa. And more followed from the trees. Dozens. Maybe even hundreds. They circled me fast, erratic. I didn't fight, didn't run. I just curled up, covered my head, waited, cried a bit. I'm a man, I'm willing to admit. And then they were gone, thankfully. That was the moment I understood something. This world doesn't work the way it should. It's got its own rules. And I had to start following them. For a long time I stayed on a small floating island. Safe, predictable, almost comfortable. Strangely felt like home. But above me, massive islands drifted through the void. Larger, richer, alive. I could hear animals on them. I could hear noises, see trees in clouds. And I knew if I stayed where I was, I'd never grow, never learn, never survive, never see what was out there. So I made a plan. Long, thick vines connected the islands, huge and endless, stretching into the sky. I grabbed one and started climbing. It took days, maybe more. I slept tied into knots of vines, nearly fell more than once. Woke up to dangling upside down, only held on by a vine on my ankle. I was awake for a while. Anyway. And then And then I met something unexpected. The blizzard. It's a small creature, about the size of my hand. 6 legs, glowing eyes, glowing tail. They lived inside the vines, tunneling through them like living passageways. An endless network. And they weren't hostile. I'd feed them and they'd just sit with me as I rested. One even followed me as I continued climbing. I'd wake up to little berries every now and then. I called him Jasper. I liked Jasper. After everything I'd seen, that moment felt important, like the world wasn't just trying to kill me. And then I did it. I finally reached the top, and I just stood there. Arms out, screaming into the sky. And I saw waterfalls spilled off the edges of the island into nothing. Lakes reflected the violet sky. Mountains cut through drifting clouds. For a moment it looked like home. It kind of looked like Earth. Then a beam of light, a blue beam of light, shot into the sky, far away. And then it was gone in seconds. And then I realised this world still had secrets. Big ones. There are no people here. No voices, no help. If I wanted to do anything, it would be on my own. But there was something else. Something that was watching me, tracking me, waiting. I slowly gave him a name. I called him Daniel. I hated Daniel. And trust me, you wouldn't want to meet him. But you will. The first time I heard him, I didn't understand what I was listening to. It wasn't a roar, nor a growl, not anything I had heard before. It was clicking, like bones tapping together, like something trying to mimic a sound it didn't understand quite well enough. I froze. Every instinct I had just stopped, and I turned and I saw them. Two white eyes, glowing, unblinking, watching me from the shadows of the trees. I didn't move, I didn't breathe, I didn't blink. It felt like hours, like I was staring at those eyes for hours. And then they were gone. I told myself it wasn't real. This space was getting to me. That I was imagining things. I hadn't slept. I never had a good sleep. My brain was always making things. But then I started seeing the signs. Scratches in the bark. Deep, fresh. Too high for anything normal to reach. Too high for me to make and think my imagination did it. And then bones. Not scattered but placed. Arranged in ways that didn't feel random, didn't feel natural. Like they were hunted piles. And every now and then I'd hear it again. That sound. The clicking. Closer every time. It's like it was playing with me. But you know the worst part in all of it? Never seeing the creature. Never seeing Daniel. The worst part is imagining it. Every time I heard that clicking, my mind filled in the blanks. It got bigger, stronger, faster. More wrong. At one point I convinced myself I had wings, 4 arms, rows of teeth. I stopped sleeping properly. I stopped trying to explore. I just started trying to survive. Like a caveman. I started carrying a sharpened stick everywhere. Every shadow became a threat, every sound a warning, and eventually I realised something. If I kept imagining it, it would always be worse than reality. So I made a decision. One that I'm happy I made. I made a spear. Not a good one, not balanced, not strong, but it was something. For the first time, and for the first time since arriving, I chose to stop running. I walked into the woods alone. No plan, no backup. Of course, no backup. And one thought in my head. It ends today. I stepped into a clearing. My hands tight on the spear. My heart pounding. And I shouted, "Come out!" over and over. And for a moment, nothing happened. And then I saw it. At the top of a slope, standing still, watching me, was Daniel. And he was wrong. Not in a way I imagined, not bigger than mountains, not covered in blades or wings, but wrong in ways that felt real, too real. He was twice the size of a grizzly, fur across his front half of his body, matted thick, the back half smooth, almost skin-like, 3 ears twitching independently, a beak, cracked slightly at the edges, and from beneath it, tentacles, small ones, constantly shifting, feeling the air, and those eyes. They weren't empty, they weren't mindless, they were focused on me. I raised the spear, hand shaking, body locked. This was it. Everything I'd feared, everything I'd imagined, standing right in front of me. And here's the strange part. I wasn't as scared as I thought I'd be. Because Daniel was real now. Not an infinite imagination. Not an unknowable concept. Just something I could see. Something I could face. We stood there. For a long time, not moving, not attacking. Just watching each other. Seconds passed, maybe minutes. Then Daniel moved. Not towards me, but away. He turned, calm, unbothered, and walked back into the trees. I didn't follow, didn't chase, didn't throw the spear. I stood there trying to understand what had just happened. Was I not worth the effort? Was he not hungry, or was this world not about hunting? The way I thought it was, anyway. This place doesn't follow rules. Not our rules. But it's not chaos either. There's something deeper here, something I don't understand yet. And that beam of light, that wasn't random. Neither is any of this. 10 years I've been here, and I've only just started to see it. The patterns, the connections, the truth behind this world. And trust me, what I've shown you so far, that's nothing. There are things in this void far bigger than Daniel, far older, and something out there knows I'm here. And I think it's been watching me for a long time.